Okay, here I am. First stop. This is called the Hanoi Hilton, better known as, well, it's the Hilton prison, famously. And there's no dress code, unlike the internet said. Hey. Place was originally made pottery. And the French decided to build their prison here and really screwed out of the people who had the land in the first place. This is detention camp D. A lot of it's been demolished over the years because nobody thought of making a museum out of it after the Vietnam War. That's how it would have looked. They would aim for 40 to 50 prisoners in rooms like these, but a lot of times they got up to 100. And yeah. They used to keep the windows always closed, which made it horrible in the summer. Bricks. Ironically, most of the communist leaders of Vietnam would have been held here and then put the Americans here. Food bowls. Prisoners were given 3 to 5 minutes to eat. And they always got really low quality food. According to some, they could only eat about a fifth what they were given because it was so crappy and they weren't given utensils. A meal with pork and meat for Sunday. Stingy meat. Those are the bowls. Pot. Kitchen used to keep rice for political prisoners. Here's your water. I don't know if you can see how flimsy that is. Most of the time the prisoners were just naked, because if they washed it, they fell apart. Utensils would have been handmade, mostly with coconuts, which I don't know how they were getting it. Well, coconuts must have, oh yeah, duh. I'm near the South Pacific. Even with this, they still did strikes. I'm amazed. Yeah, I think you can imagine what those were used for. That'd be the toilet area. This is how the male prisoners would spend their day. 1 foot chained up. just sitting the whole time. And they say if they protested, and they did, they would stop emptying that until it overflowed. Even so, they say they had like writings, newspapers where they hid their writings and whatnot in stagnant water, like filthy water. You couldn't see the bottom of. They'd have a tin case down there. Crazy stuff. What I thought was the Hanoi Hilton was a very interesting retrospective in it. They didn't really demonize the American involvement in Vietnam, but they just kind of like actually said what they went through. They were a little, I know, from what I understand, they were a little like diminutive on how much torture actually happened, because a lot of the survivors say a lot more happened than what is depicted at the time. But still, it's kind of an interesting just to see the take on it. So I think it's worth a visit if you can make it there. It's cheap, like everything in Vietnam.